Welcome to the Egg Whisperer Show, a program exclusively designed to promote reproductive health awareness and discuss fertility preservation options. Here is your host, the Harvard-educated fertility specialist, Dr. Amy.
She's known as the Egg Whisperer.
Fertility expert Dr. Amy Vazadeh.
And you have yet another success story
just launched by an East Bay fertility doctor.
Hi everyone. Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Egg Whisperer Show. I am so excited to have our guest, Dr. Jerisa. Hi, Dr. Jerisa.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I really appreciate it. You're joining us all the way from Florida, so I really appreciate it. I know it's really late there, so thank you. I know you're super, super busy being a doctor, running a private clinic, so I want to hear more about you. Tell us about you, Dr. Jerisa.
Oh my gosh. Well, first, Dr. Amy, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for this cause and the Egg Whisperer and the egg freezing parties. I'm so happy that you are just spreading the word and the knowledge. So, it's personal for me. This is something that I had to endure and go through for, over 3.5 years, myself and my husband. And so I'm sure we'll probably get into that. But because of what I had to go through, I definitely wanted to do something where we could, give back and just like you, encourage other women to, be aware and do things that potentially could help secure their fertility.
Right. And so you're super busy. I mean, you were telling me what you did today. You worked all night in the emergency room, and then you and your husband run an urgent care. Is that right? Tell us where we can find you if I broke my leg or my arm. Where can I find Dr. Jerisa?
So I work part-time in emergency down here in South Florida, in Palm Beach, Florida.
Okay.
And then we also own Vital Care Medical Center, which is a primary care clinic in Green Acres, Florida. So, yeah. And then we have
so if I'm ever in
fertility.
Green Acres and I need a primary care doctor, I'm going to come to you guys.
Yes.
Call you. Okay. Very good. Because I can only imagine being a woman and going to the emergency room when someone gets to see your beautiful face and your energy, they probably just feel so good knowing that they're in such great hands.
Medicine,
Yes.
Medicine is a passion. So you're right. I love what I do. I love saving lives, so it's great. Yeah. It's great being a doctor. Yes.
Yeah. And what made you pick emergency room medicine?
I love the versatility. I love that 1 minute it could be, cough, cold, congestion, and then another minute you're, trying to resuscitate someone. Wow. So I love that energy, and I love also the shift work. The lifestyle of it for ER is good. So that's how I got involved in emergency medicine.
Got it. Well, I can tell you that if I had to deal with what you had to deal with every day, I'd probably end up in the ER because that would give me chest pain and palpitations. I love what I do. About the only emergency I like to handle is a period. So when a woman calls me that she's on her period, I'm like, I can take that emergency any day. And I get a lot of those calls, and I never mind them because I know that it could be a lot different, and I could be saving lives like you, and that's just not something that I'm equipped to do. So thank you for all your work.
What you do is very important.
I know.
Please. Oh my gosh. It's so necessary.
So I loved finding, we found each other through, social media, and I saw your website, secureyourfertility.com. So tell me about when you started it, how you started it, how did that come to be?
So we started it last year.
Okay.
Like I said, we went through the process ourselves and saw different REIs. We both being physicians, my husband and I, did a lot of research and just tried to see what we could do because we do own a medical clinic and just tried to see, what we can do with, labs and how we can just make some of these fertility tests more available to women so that they kind of know their status. So us having gone through that painful experience, I smile now, but there are many days when I cried, because it was devastating.
Right.
But, having gone through that, you kind of reach a point where, thankfully we decided to turn our pain into something more purposeful.
Right.
And then we created the Secure Fertility app where it just, oh my gosh, so much media has taken on, and And a lot of women have been, helped and inspired by it. So we're just happy that
That's
we were
great.
able to do that.
And I'm sure you're surprised, like I am, about how so many women don't even know that there are levels that you can check. So, right?
Yes. Oh my gosh. And also so many women and men
Right.
are scared.
Right.
It's kind of still a little taboo that, oh
Right.
my gosh, I don't want to have to go to the, fertility clinic. Do I
Right.
really have to do that? Like,
Right.
it's still a lot of hesitancy
Right.
in knowing that, I'm glad that Egg Whisperer exists.
Right.
So we can just kind of just erase that.
Exactly.
Erase
So
that
between
fear.
you on the East Coast, me on the West Coast, we should have this country covered. So every woman
Yes.
should know that a fertility health checkup should just be an ingrained, practice. We spend enough time at the OBGYN getting our pap smears done. And I was just looking at a patient's birth control pills. For those of you who don't know, we use birth control pills as IVF readiness pills in certain situations. And in the birth control pill pack, it actually said, do a breast self-check. And so when I saw that, I said, it should also say, before you get your refill, get a fertility health checkup. Go to Secure Your
Yes.
Fertility, go to eggwhisperer.com, get your levels checked. Wouldn't that be amazing
Yes.
if a birth control pill company could watch this show and call us and somehow we can get that on there?
Please
Yes.
add that. It should not be taken lightly. Young women just don't take it lightly.
Right.
It can happen. You don't have to be 40, or 45
Right.
to have this issue. And so,
Right. So you mentioned a little bit about your own personal story, and I would love to hear about, what you guys have gone through. If you don't feel comfortable sharing that, I totally understand, but I know it would be inspiring to know, especially for other women, that they're not alone, and hearing your story might make someone feel a little bit better about what they're going through.
oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, I waited for love. It wasn't anything where I was trying to rush into, and also I was trying to build my career, right? So, I got married later, and I found my knight in shining armor. I love him.
Yeah.
And when we did that, we initially wanted to just be newlyweds too. We didn't want to have kids right away. We wanted to enjoy each other. And so we were married for a couple years. Of course, we dated for, a year or so before that. And when we finally decided that it was time to really start trying, we had difficulties, difficulties naturally. And, us being physicians and, at my age at that time, I think I was 38, that we didn't want to keep trying. I encourage women, I know you do too, if you're over 35, just give it 6 months, really, and so we knew that we didn't want to keep trying without seeking help.
Right.
And so we went to a fertility specialist and, had all the testing done, myself, him. I always knew that I had some fibroids, but, they were kind of small at that time, and like I said, I wasn't really trying. So it's not anything that you're for the most part, mine were asymptomatic too.
Yeah.
But the location was bad, and then they grew larger with IVF treatments, and I had surgery. I had, after the surgery, I did another IUF, and then IVF, and then the fibroids grew larger, and it's like, oh my gosh, and then I had a procedure where, even after I had the fibroids removed, we, tried to had embryos, and hopefully hope that they would implant, but it did not. And so after that, then I had a miscarriage, and so all these things happened in a span of 2.5, 3 years, and it got to the point where it was, you could have surgery again, or you can kind of seek help, and that's where we were, and we were able to find a surrogacy agency.
Nice.
And we're going through that process now.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to an update soon. I really hope that we have really positive, great news to hear from you in the not too distant future.
Thank you. Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. So from Secure Your Fertility, people can sign up for a masterclass. Is that right?
Yeah, so that started, oh my gosh, it's amazing how things just kind of flow when
Yeah.
you start to kind of walk into your purpose. And then I just started talking to other specialists, OB-GYN, REI, and
Yeah.
even counselors. And I said, you know what, why not host a masterclass where you kind of bring, all the different experts together. And
Right.
that week we started with the Infertility Awareness Week last April.
Uh-huh.
And then Pregnancy Awareness Month in October. And so that week long, we have different sessions
Right.
where we talk about coping and even, different conditions, fibroids, endometriosis, and you just kind of get into more detail. And so I love it. Yes, they can sign up. We usually, you don't think that these things are going to be regular when you first
Right.
think of it. And then, it becomes kind of popular and a lot of women, get help from it. And
Right.
so we've decided to continue the masterclass.
Nice.
At least annually, but
Yeah. Yeah, I
last
mean,
year
it
was
makes
fun.
sense, and April's coming up. It's right around the corner, so that's perfect.
Yes.
Yeah. So I want to hear more about what are the levels a woman can check? What are the hormones that a woman can get checked through Secure Your Fertility? Because I think for people who are watching this that don't know, I think it's important for them to hear from you and me, of course, what they can have done.
A lot of women are unfamiliar with the test, and I know you are, fond of it as well.
Right.
The EMH test.
Correct.
Okay, and nothing is exact. Nothing is exact in medicine,
Right.
and so, but it gives you an idea, right? And so the AMH test, or the anti-Müllerian hormone, is just one test of several.
Right.
But that one test can give you an idea, of where you stand, and knowing that level, especially if the level is low, right, can lead you to take certain steps, like, should you freeze your eggs at a certain age, even if you're 27, 25. There's women that unfortunately no one is really immune from that. Okay, it can happen even if you're younger, and so it's a test that's not really widely available. It's not a test that a lot of OB-GYN, like you said earlier, just will order, but it is something that just one test, that can at least start you, on the path to knowing potentially where you stand. Of course, there's other tests, FSH and estradiol, LH, and of course, the antral follicle count, that go along with that. But it's just a start,
Right, definitely. So, Jerisa, what are some of the top fertility myths that you hear? I mean, I'm sure when people know that you are, the doctor behind Secure Your Fertility, people are always talking to you about what they think is right about fertility. So what are some of the myths that you hear all the time?
I hear young women think that it might not be an issue. Like, infertility is an issue for older women, right? And then at the same time, you also hear, because of Hollywood, 50-year-olds having, babies and becoming pregnant, they think, oh yeah, I'll be fine. I can wait until I'm 45 and then I'll get tested, So those are the kind of myths that, you think it's just a condition, of someone older.
Right.
But definitely it can happen to anyone. So know your status, just like anything.
Just get your fertility levels checked. It's not about taking control about your fertility. It's just about being aware about your fertility so that you're not finding out when you're standing at that egg cliff wondering, why didn't I know sooner?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
The age does not matter, really.
No, your fertility is not skin deep. It doesn't matter how amazing you look on the outside, right? You're an example of that. Sometimes your uterus has different ideas for what they have in store for you. So can you give me some of your best stories about someone who worked with Secure Fertility and then how it changed their lives for the better?
Yes. That's the emotional part of it, because I get emails. I've gotten emails from women that have said, oh my gosh, I saw you on social media. Thank you for sharing your story. And because of you, my husband and I are going to get tested, so just different testimonials that, you don't expect that. But yes, there have been several women. I even had a medical student, both of us are physicians. I had a medical student say, oh my gosh, thank you for making this available. My primary care doctor didn't know about this.
Right. No, it's true.
But,
it's so true.
I want to know as I start medical school. So,
Right.
yeah.
Right. And so how do you get through your day being so purposeful, because it sounds like you're very grounded, and I have a sense that you're really good at managing stress. So what are some kind of tips that you would want other women to know that have helped you over the past few years get through all the struggles that you've been through?
For me, I believe in a higher power, so I pray a lot. And I meditate. I believe in the power of meditation. Coping, of course, I have a wonderful partner in life, my husband, who the days when I'm sad, he's strong, to encourage me, and then just, it's not my fault, and so definitely having someone close knit by your side. Of course, my mom, my dad, but just, meditating, prayer, and just realizing that it's not the end all be all, that life will and can go on. So,
yeah, that's so true. Those are really good points for all our viewers to hear and learn from, for sure. And then if there's one thing that you could tell anybody out there who's listening, one thing that you would want them to know about fertility, what would it be?
I would say, as we mentioned earlier, is that it's not a condition of older women. I have met actually a lot of women that have even ordered the test online, probably even on your site, my site, have been young.
Right.
So don't wait. Don't wait until you're 35 or 40.
Right. And I think it's
building your career, know your status.
Right. And so for younger women, they're just discouraged from getting their levels checked because they're actually told by people that they trust, like their doctor, oh, you're too young to worry about that. And I see so many patients that come in and say, I just knew something just wasn't right. And I kept asking, and they kept saying, you're too young. You don't have to worry about this. So doctors obviously have their prejudice as well when it comes to getting your levels checked. So, our message, both of us out there, is if you're worried about something, it's so easy to get a simple fertility health checkup with either one of us.
Yes.
Yeah. Jerisa, thank you for coming on the Egg Whisperer Show. This is an awesome segment. It's called Secure Your Fertility. Please send it to your friends. If you have a friend out there who's just wondering about their fertility, we talked about how to get your fertility levels checked, and I can't wait to get Dr. Jerisa back on this show later in the spring or early summer to hear more about what's going on with her and her surrogate journey as well.
Thank you so much,
Of
Dr.
course,
Amy, for having
of
me.
course. Well, we hope to see you soon. Have a great night, everybody.
Welcome to the Egg Whisperer Show, a program exclusively designed to promote reproductive health awareness and discuss fertility preservation options. Here is your host, the Harvard-educated fertility specialist, Dr. Amy.
She's known as the Egg Whisperer.
Fertility expert Dr. Amy,
And you have yet another success story.
Just launched by an East Bay fertility doctor.